Hey guys, what's up? Just thought I'd do a quick video here just to really talk about uh, how the pinch of a head uh, really affects the way that you should string a pocket and kind of the theory behind that. Um, so I noticed that a lot of people just, kind of wing it with their pocket and they want to put, maybe a high pocket in a head that's really not made for it or a low pocket in a head that's not made for it. Um, so the way that a company designs a head is with the offset of the head, it places the ball in a certain spot on the stick, irregardless of the way that you string it. Um, for instance, if I were to string a high pocket in this, you know, with with the double up more up here, the ball is still going to want to sit a little bit lower naturally because of the offset of this particular Evo. Um, and the other thing too is when they design a pinch of the head, um, and Brian just came out with the King, which supposedly is the perfect channel for a stick. But um, anyways, my theory behind this is when you string a stick and the way that it pinches, the way that the face shape is designed really determines how far you're able to pull that mesh and do different double ups um, at a certain point on the head. So without it conflicting the ball from actually coming out of the pocket or not being enough hold in the stick. So with this particular head, um, you can see I only pull the mesh down 2 mesh rows, and the reason why is because you can see that the head really starts to flare out right where I end my knots. Um, and that's the whole goal of the pinch is when you're stringing a stick, you should end your knots and start your double ups, start your singles, and the rest of the pattern right where the stick actually starts to flare out. Um, and that's what's going to give you the best channel that you can have in that stick. Um, so the Evo, you can see here, still develops a nice channel. It's pretty tight, and it's got a mid pocket. Probably not everybody's preference, but it's gonna give you the maximum hold in this wide of a head, even with college legal shooters. And if we look at a head like the Evo 4 that I have right here, you can see that same kind of concept design. So the Evo 4 really starts to flare out about right here, and you can see that's where I stop my knots, is right about there. Um, and the pocket, same, mid pocket, but you can see how it still develops that nice channel in a wider head. Um, Now, is this the case for tighter pinch heads? Not necessarily. When I string a Brian clutch, occasionally I try to get a low pocket in a Brian clutch, but the way that the flare of the head actually happens is it's not designed to have a low pocket in that stick, even though the tightest part of the head is down here in the throat. And the reason why is because of the offset. Pretty much you can see here that this Evo really dips down and then has a gradual return. Well, the clutch kind of just dips down and doesn't and barely returns. And what that does is it naturally wants the ball to sit higher in the stick. And that's why it's harder to get that more defined low pocket in the stick like you can in some of these gradual returning poc heads with their offset. So even with something like a Nas, which I've strung high pockets in, you can see here this is a relatively higher mid pocket. So really the whole goal of this pocket was for it to sit about right there. And you can see I get that tight channel. This one's warped, so it's going to have a tighter channel than the normal Nas. But if I were to stick a ball in there, if I stick a ball in here, so here's ideally, like I said, where I want the pocket to sit. You know, sticking the ball in there, you can see that the offset actually forces it to come back farther in the head, just based on that shallower or that gradual return that Warrior has. And you know, STX has the forward cant. Maverick has true offset. I forget what Warrior and Brian's called. It's something pretty simple, but they both have different offsets, and every one of Warrior and Brian's heads is pretty much designed with the same exact offset. So when you string a stick, you have to keep that offset in mind and really realize that, you know, a low pocket in a clutch is not going to give you the maximum hold, especially if it's a clutch 2 where you have the reverse flare. That's really going to bring the channel in tight. And you know, you can see here where the Nas has that reverse flare, but because of the offset, it wants the ball to sit naturally lower in the stick. And if this was a clutch, I'd probably put the ball up a little bit higher, because it starts to flare out a little bit higher than any of the other Warrior heads. And you know, really the best heads that I'd say that you can get pretty much a pocket anywhere in the stick is really a superpower, just because the pinch is pretty gradual. It's more of an hourglass shape than anything else, and it's gonna have a really low rate of return on the offset because of that forward cant technology, as opposed to a head like the Stallion, which is more made for that low pocket, or excuse me, for that higher pocket, and it's really gonna force the ball. Same with the Surgeon. It's gonna want to have a lower pocket in the stick, a low mid, because the forward cant technology is set a little bit more back in the stick as opposed to the Stallion. And when you string that stick, like I said, you have to really pull your knots if you want the optimal channel. Obviously, if you're not looking for, you know, to have the best pocket that your stick can possibly have, and you're just looking for your personal preferences, then you obviously shouldn't follow this rule if the pocket works for you. But you know, I found consistently that if I pull the knots down to where the head starts to flare, I get the best consistent pocket in this. And then it's just a matter of finding the double up, where I can put that double up to put the pocket in the most optimal place for the head. So that's my little rant about kind of stringing theory and developing the best channel based on offset and pinch in the head. So please, if you like this video, comment, rate, subscribe. Most importantly, do subscribe, helps me out. And I'll see you guys later.